Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Anna B and I like to create art for self-awareness and personal development. Today's art is a portrait that I decided to create using a reference picture that I found off either Pixabay or Pixel.com. So as I started drawing this portrait, I realized that it's going to take a lot longer than I had anticipated, so I most likely will split this art piece into two separate videos. As I was drawing this portrait, I started thinking about the difference between the fixed mindset and the growth mindset, and how that's affected me and how I see it affect other people as well, and not just artists. But I wanted to talk about the different mindsets that are fixed mindsets that actually hurts many artists if you don't pay attention to it and choose to do something about it. When I first came across the concepts of fixed and growth mindsets, it was mostly talking about intellect. And that's what many of us think about when we first hear about any type of fixed or growth mindsets, where the fixed mindset believes that we are born with a certain level of intellect and we have to make do with it, and you can't really do much about it in order to increase your ability or your intelligence. As with the growth mindset, it teaches us that you are born with a certain level of intelligence, but you are also able to change that through your own self-awareness and your dedication and discipline in order to grow in the skill that you want to grow in. As I started to reconnect with art again, I realized that creativity is another area where people suffer from the fixed mindset, and a lot of people believe that the creative levels that we possess, we're either born with it or we're not born with any, and they allow that to dictate how much they try to reach their creative potential. So the first fixed mindset that I want to debunk is that we are born artists. This mindset believes that great artists are born and not created through their environment and their own free will. Which means people who didn't come out of the womb yielding a paintbrush, singing since they were a child, dancing, performing, or writing since they were a kid, then they do not have the ability to become a successful artist. This limited mindset teaches us that we are not in control of our future success in areas that we might be passionate about and we might not possess the genes for. So it is a talent versus skill topic, and on the talent side, if you are somebody who were born extremely talented and everything or something creative just came very natural to you, and painting is very intuitive to you, and the fundamentals of art are just something that is common sense to you, and you don't have to work that hard to be able to draw something and create something, as opposed to somebody who is not very naturally artistic. So the trap with being born with a lot of talent is that you can become trapped into a sense of entitlement. You believe that because you are born with this level of talent, that you should just have success come knocking at your door. and this leads you to a lazy mindset where you don't feel like you need to work towards anything. And we all know that when we're given any type of reward, such as any level of success, without working for it, we tend to not appreciate it very much. This mindset also doesn't leave room for a lot of growth, and it deprives the person who's trapped in this mindset of a lot of character building skills, as opposed to somebody who might not have been born with a lot of natural talent. So this is the person on the other extreme, where they might have a very huge interest in something creative and want to learn, but they don't know how to start, where to start, and their path towards learning and achieving a certain level of ability is going to take a lot of work. So this is a difficult learning path, and it will take a lot of work for them to get there, and they will have a higher steep to climb, but it does build a great work ethic, and they also build character throughout their journey, and then they are rewarded at the end with the tools that are able to push them forward on their path. Of course, these are two extremes, and there are many people that fall in between as well. So, to give you an example of this talent trap, I had dated a guy in the very beginning of my dating experience where he really wanted to find success as an artist, and he bought a lot of high-tech supplies and equipment to be able to create his art, and he, I believe, sent out his art to people and companies that might be able to discover him. But he wasn't finding any success, and he was very salty and very bitter about this, and I realized how he was self-sabotaging his own level of success when he was watching somebody on television, and he became really upset, and he looked at me and said, "That should be me." And I looked at him and I asked him what he's doing to try to get to that level of success. Although he's creating his art, he doesn't do anything to try to increase his skills. He's not taking courses, he's not looking for a coach, he's just buying more stuff, trying to make his existing level of talent and art better through superficial means of better equipment, better supplies, and expected that he should just be discovered. So that is my example of how you can become trapped in the mindset, the fixed mindset of expecting some level of success just because you believe you have talent. So that's another trap that I find in this talent versus skill mindset, fixed mindset, where people who are talented, or at least people who think they're talented, and their family and friends compliment them on their talents, they just expect automatic success without much work. And when they don't get it, they become very bitter and resentful. In order for someone in this trap to free themselves, they need to accept that there's more to becoming successful than just possessing the skill or talent. The other trap is that believing someone who's not so talented shouldn't have a certain level of success. So I see this a lot in pop culture, and I even see this in a lot of YouTube artists where their skills might not be as fine-tuned, as advanced, but yet they still have a very lucrative career in their art, and they have a decent amount of success, and you will see it in the comments, or you will see it in people's reaction to celebrities, where they say that they're not really that talented, or they're not that skilled, and they don't deserve their success. And I think this is a very limited mindset and a fixed mindset trap as well, because there's so much more to becoming successful than just being able to create or hone your craft. There are the business aspects, and especially on YouTube, it is not just your art that's going to attract people to your channel and going to make people want to stay on your channel. There's so many other aspects that you need to be able to find success in. You need to be able to create videos. You need to be able to learn how to edit videos. You have to take advantage of SEO and titles, and in your titles and descriptions and your word choices and what you do in your videos and who you're trying to target. And there are just so many different aspects that come into the ability to create a successful YouTube channel, that the amount of YouTube artists that become successful just from their skill alone is very minute. In my experience, as I look for other YouTube artists that I wanted to follow and use as my own role models, I've come across one YouTube channel. I'm not going to name this artist just for privacy purposes, but I wasn't a big fan of her art at first. I didn't care for it, and I thought there were many other artists that were better than her. And I still found myself drawn into her video, and I was able to finish her video and decided to look at her other videos on her channel, and I ended up falling in love with her videos and her personality, and realized that is probably the main reason why she found success as a YouTube entrepreneurial artist. So what that says is that a lot of the artists here in our technology dominated world that find success usually has a different set of skills and talents, and it's not just the art. So just to touch base on a couple of examples that can show you whether or not you fall under the fixed or growth mindset when it comes to your own art and your own art career, is that a person with a fixed mindset will see the need for effort in their art and in their pursuits as failure, as opposed to someone with a growth mindset. They see the effort that they put in as a means towards progress. And a limited mindset and a fixed mindset also interprets criticism as someone telling us that we're not good enough, as opposed to someone with a growth mindset. Criticism is interpreted as something pointing us in the direction of where we need to grow. Also, someone with a fixed mindset tends to avoid challenges where their talent doesn't shine, so that they're not revealed in their deficits. So they don't want to put themselves in a path where there might be obstacles, where the talented person might give up easily, as opposed to a person who builds up their skills tends to embrace the challenges, so that these challenges can improve their skill and builds resilience that allows them to persist through any setbacks that are thrown at them. Another fixed mindset that I do want to touch base on is the starving artist mindset. This is a very toxic mindset. It's a very unhealthy way to see your life as an artist if you're looking to make a career out of your art. So the starving artist tends to think that you have to risk everything or nothing at all. And they see other artists who chooses to work at a corporate job or any type of job outside of the artistic field as them being a sellout because they settled for the security of the job instead of pursuing art and sacrificing and risking everything. This mindset causes these starving artists to ignore the reality of what the market needs, and for many reasons they tend to subconsciously and unconsciously act in ways that makes it impossible for them to find success in their work. They tend to be pretty disconnected from reality, and they have something called cognitive dissonance, where their expectations do not meet their reality. It is a very black and white thinking, and any type of gray area that is proposed to them is thrown out as invalid and dismissed. So the key to be able to coming out of this trap is to be able to find balance in that everybody finds success in their own way, in that you don't have to risk everything. And some people don't pursue their creative passions until they're well into their career that creates a financial stability for them. Not everybody wants to risk everything in order to pursue their art, especially if they have responsibilities such as taking care of a family and providing for a family. So another trap that I do want to talk about is not so much a fixed mindset, but something that many people, and not just artists, don't really think about, and that trap is not defining what success means to them. So as an artist, some artists want to make a living primarily from their arts and be able to create their art as much as they can. So they want to be able to be creative every day and spend all of their free time creating the art. But not everybody wants to do that. Some creative people want to do more than just create their art. Maybe they want to earn extra cash and have their art and their creative passions as something that they do on the side, while they also have the stability of their main career that creates the financial comfort for them, or that creates the environment where they can live their lifestyle. So unless you define what success means to you, you won't know when you've gotten there or when you've reached that level. For me personally, I wanted to be able to create art, to be able to learn more about myself through my art, and that is my definition of success. I don't mind pursuing and continuing my career as a nurse to be able to provide for my own financial needs, and I don't mind being able to work on my creative aspirations on the side. And I do have dreams and goals of being able to combine those two worlds, hopefully someday, some way, and somehow. But as long as I'm able to use my art as a tool for discovering myself and learning about myself and being able to share that, then that is my level of success. Alright, so that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I will see all of you beautiful souls in the next one. Bye for now.